All right, part two, the moment y'all been waiting for. The time is here, you feel me? So you go ahead and tap in with your boy, man. Yep, well, going off of the abrupt ending of the last video of part one, well, I named it part one, obviously I ran out of memory. So, with that being said, y'all, we back here again, part two, and I just want to pick up from where I'm left off at. If y'all not up to date at this point, y'all tapped in with the Head of the Game podcast. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So, long story short, why was I sitting up there talking to y'all in the middle of the night in a car, in a rental, you feel me, heading towards this new company and orientation and so on and so forth, right? Well, let me be frank with y'all. The BS, I'm gonna curse, you feel me? Recruiter gave me and booked me the rental, but not told me or had told me about the specific hotel where I would be staying at for that week, or this week that I'm staying at right now. You feel me? Part his fault, part my fault because I should have been the one verifying the itinerary, making sure every T was crossed and every I was dotted. His fault due to the fact that you're a recruiter and your whole job description is to recruit. So if a person is interested in inquiring and want to move forward with the said company that you're recruiting for, it would be in your best interest to make sure that everything that's in your control happens as a seamless transition in order to, the hiring process. You feel me? So I feel like, some thoughts ran through my head. I was like, man, I need to go ahead and turn this rental back and just let them know, like, hey, this was a great opportunity, but I'm just not gonna. We already off on the wrong foot, you feel me, due to a lack of professionalism, right? But I just bit the bullet, feel me? I just bit the bullet, you feel me? I'm not one of these prima donna pretty boys that are gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm too good to sleep in the car. Get all that, feel me? I'm gonna just go ahead and do what I got to do, and that's gonna be the end of it, you feel me? So yeah, unfortunately, I had to go from Vegas to Fontana, and I had to sleep in the car. Due to the fact that I had nowhere to sleep, it was a long drive, it was the last minute, it was the last day to actually get out here to make my orientation. And I could have made the drive maybe like 3 in the morning and got here, but I just didn't trust the amount of sleep I was gonna get trying to take a nap and, so on and so forth, right? So, moving forward, they said, recruiter had said 3 to 5 days of training. Hypothetically, we only doing 3, though we had to be here 6 days. You feel me? And 4 out of those 6 days, you feel me, is actually having to go to the terminal and, do all the hiring process and stuff. But the actual training of the orientation was 3 days. I passed all 3 days. Did all the modules, did the drive test, pre-trip, back maneuvers, so on and so forth, right? And it was a light test, right? It wasn't nothing strenuous or something just way blown out of proportion. So shout out to the new company I'm with, you feel me? Let me slow down. Let me catch y'all up. If y'all just get into this, if this is your first time seeing this video and have no idea of where I was just at previously in the last video, right? So let me go ahead and give y'all a recap. So long story short, I was with this company for 9 months. I got out of said company because it was a home local position that I inquired about and I got an interview for, and the impression was I secured the position. So then that was prior to me putting my 2 weeks in. So if y'all haven't seen that video yet, it's done 9 months OTR, going local, going home, so on and so forth, right? So I was like, super geeked up. I'm like, man, I'm accomplished. You feel me? It's a great milestone. And pretty much as soon as I got home, got the door slammed on me, pretty much told me that, the position was filled and stuff of that sort. So pretty much I had to hit the reset button and just pretty much find someone to fly because I was on a limited amount of time as far as like needing employment because, everybody got expenses and things to catch up for, right? So now that I caught y'all up on that, right? moving forward, where I'm currently at right now, my current situation, and the orientation to this new company I have gotten, the situation I'm in right now, and then moving forward, this is where things get a lot more interesting. Because arguably, this new position that I end up discovering and coming across, you feel me, on paper looks way better than said local position that I was going to be running for, right? It's home weekly. It's a run between Vegas and Phoenix, you feel me? Pretty dope, you feel me? Pretty dope. Pay a lot more, and a home local position was pretty much like a temporary dedicated position for 3 months, filling in for somebody. Then I was going to be a floater where, it was just horrible. Split off days. You drive starting in the afternoon. It was just, like it was better than the mega carrier I was with prior, but it wasn't better than this position I am in right now. And it's also a mega carrier, right? So brand new account. Pretty much gonna be making runs between here in Phoenix, you feel me? Or not here because I'm still in Cali or whatever, right? But when I get back to Vegas, just to kill the suspense, I passed my evaluation. I didn't mention that part, you feel me? I think I did touch on it, but I just wanted to just go ahead and make it definitive. I passed everything, the training, the orientation, because check this out. Every time you move to a new company, no, they're not gonna have the traditional inexperienced orientation where you're gonna be sitting in the truck for about 2-3 weeks, 4 weeks with a trainer and go through all these extraneous backing, maneuvers and tests and things of that sort. You ain't gotta deal with none of that. You feel me? You get the red carpet treatment. I'm gonna tell you what was the red carpet treatment, at least for this company. For one, got a rental. Wasn't no Ricky Dink rental. It was car was pretty smooth. It was I think it was like a Chevy Trailblazer. So pretty dope. Not nothing luxury, but based off a company giving you a rental, you feel me? It was definitely premium in comparison to the kind of rentals I got in the past, right? So second thing, when you typically train, and because you're inexperienced, you're gonna have to have a roommate. Obviously, I'm in this situation by myself. You feel me? I'm in here by myself. So, long story short, when you're an experienced person, it's a 2-part luxury aspect because you're coming in as the more valuable, more proven commodity in comparison to a lot more money goes into your training as an inexperienced driver, that they gotta make sure and refine that you're safe enough to be able to operate. And it's bigger than safety, even though safety is the top priority. That you have the wherewithal to understand how to perform in this industry, right? So, long story short, feel me? Wasn't here long. Got my own room. Got my own rental. Yeah, bro. I mean, this has been a dope experience. You feel me? Like I said, I'm not gonna put it on the company to a certain extent because the company is liable for hiring a person that would be capable of not giving someone, the incentive to make sure that when they drive to a whole nother state, they got a place to lay their head at. But I digress, right? The bigger picture, right, is that, pretty much where I'm at right now. Pretty much got the weekend to myself. I'm off for 2 days. So I got the rest of today, which is Friday. Then I got Saturday, Sunday. Come back Monday. They assign me a truck, and I'm gonna drive back to Vegas, right? I'm gonna tell you the reasons why this account is actually better than the home local, though that this one is technically weekly, right? If I'm running from Las Vegas to Phoenix and then back, technically, you feel me? Depending on how it's running, technically, that's home every other day on top of your 34-hour reset. I'm getting paid way more, you feel me? And long story short, y'all, I mean, it's the sky's the limit. So what's the moral of the story, right? Of all these, this has been a very controversial last 3 videos, right? If you watch them all in chronological order, this is very controversial. But I will sit up there and say that the moral of the story is that when you're credentialed, and this is why I tell y'all, make sure, get your endorsements, make sure you're experienced. And I'm telling you to get these things because you want to be the most qualified in position person, so that way when an opportunity presents itself, you're in position to seize your moment and not miss out on something because you half stepped it, or you quarter stepped it, or you 3/4 stepped it. You went all the way with it, and you made sure you got everything out the way right then and there, right? Because I'm gonna keep it honest. This company would have took me on without my hazmat, but I just feel like 90 days to get your hazmat, that would have been another hurdle to get over, especially when you make your runs. All I want to do, as soon as I get hired, I just want to drive the truck. Drive the truck and do my job. I don't do nothing outside of that. It has something to do with the job. You feel me? Because you spend so much time in the truck. So, yeah, bro, I mean, this is a great opportunity. I definitely would have quit the other that said home daily position. You know, try to find something else better. You feel me? Now I feel like instead of having a 3-month plan with that, this account, depending on how it goes, I can be here for at least a minimum of a year. You feel me? You know, there's a weekly minimum of $1,350. You know, and I was doing the math. You know, they start you out at 60 cents per mile. You feel me? That's way above industry standard in comparison to my experience. Then I get another 3-cent raise once I hit my year mark. That's around the corner in October. So I can go on and on about, you know, just the position and the benefits that I'm in a position to be able to, you know, retain and stuff like that. But the moral of the story is that when you're credentialed, even when they say no, and even when you get denied, the market is gonna dictate a lot of your experience when you become experienced, right? When you first come in, your first 3 months is not gonna look like your last 3 months of your year. They're gonna be polar opposites, though it's within the same sample size, right? And just be patient. Be patient. Stick with the process. It's just like with anything, right? People get into this industry and they just, yeah, I want to make the money. Don't get like that, because if you get into any other career, I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna hit the ground running. It's some kind of internship. It's some kind of learning curve. It's some kind of progression to master your skill. So don't go get into this industry thinking that everything's gonna be just given to you at once, because that's not how most industries don't. You know, you gotta become an intern, you gotta go through your training, you gotta go through your apprenticeship, you gotta get all your classifications and certifications and qualifications. Like, you know, you gotta go through the process to put yourself in a position to become an actual experienced professional in your class. Therefore, you can get compensated, not only in the performance, right? Because I feel like anybody, I don't say anybody, but relatively, most people could perform on the right day. You have to be more dependable and more reliable, regardless of whatever season: sleet, snow, rain, sunny, hills, mountains, interstate, inner city, traffic, no traffic, daylight. It doesn't even matter. You feel me? Like, you gotta be prepared in every aspect. And you can't pick and choose when you want to be a professional. You feel me? You can't do that, because you're doing yourself a disservice, and anybody can be an imposter and have a good day. You feel me? But longevity is what people compensate you for. They don't compensate you for not only your experience, but they also compensate you for your capabilities of said experience. You feel me? Because it's the indication. Most people would feel like in certain professions that the past is probably one of the greatest indicators to dictate or indicate what the future may hold. Now that doesn't mean all the time, every time, so on and so forth, but you get what I'm saying. So that's the moral of the story, y'all. Keep your head down. Don't, lose sight of your goals, your dreams. You feel me? Don't allow people to sit up there and try to quantify your experience because it doesn't look like the next person's. Stay focused, stay diligent. Just stay driven, man. Stay positive. Because this industry definitely comes with a lot of stress, a lot of negativity, a lot of controversy, a lot of haters. Because everybody's story, though, is this: everybody's driving a truck, the same dimensions. Their experience, whether it be the East Coast, West Coast, certain accounts, old, young, everybody's experience looks different. So just keep that in mind that, just as long as you're staying positive and you're progressing every day and you're taking your time, and you're not trying to get ahead of the process, you feel me? Because this is a process that everything should fall in its respective place, and it's really a mirror. You feel me? What you put in is what you get out of it. You put in the work, you put in the time, you put in the dedication. You're gonna get rewarded for said actions. You feel me? If you try to cut corners and try to jump ahead and things of that nature, I do feel like, when you're cutting corners on your situation. You feel me? Because you're not allowing whatever needs to happen to develop in your life and in your situation. So that's all I got for y'all, man. This is like I said, am I super giddy as I was before when I first made, the going local situation? No. I'm glad that I'm not, because I was super happy for what I was leaving more so than what I was headed towards, because I felt I was being mistreated. You feel me? So it was more about me being no longer unappreciated than me celebrating my potential appreciation. And I feel like that's telling. You feel me? And I feel like there's a time and a place to be celebratory over either situation, because they're both ideal, right? But you should be way more ecstatic or elated, with your accomplishments than where you didn't fail. It's just kind of like, okay, and I'll just leave it at this example. I'm gonna wrap the video up. It's just sitting up there saying like, oh well, I lost, but I didn't lose that bad, so I deserve a round of applause. In comparison to saying, hey, I won, and I won in the manner in which I wanted to win. Time and place, you feel me? But this is a way better opportunity, and I should be even over the moon, but I'm not. You feel me? I'm not, because I'm humble. You feel me? This situation humbled me because it allowed me to see deeper outside of what one company can do. Right? This your CDL. This is my CDL basically had me turn what most people would consider a disastrous situation into an even better one, based off of not only how credentialed I was, but the research I did. I stayed diligent. I stayed optimistic. I stayed positive. I was out of work for 2.5 weeks. And that could get a lot of people down, stressing, oh, I'm gonna pay this bill, oh, I'm out of work, oh, I need some money, oh, this is getting compromised, all that could get turned off. You feel me? You got all these different forces working against you. You feel me? And yeah, I'm credentialed, yeah, I'm certified, yeah, I'm qualified, so on and so forth. But it's the mindset, you feel me? That's all that matters. And that's what I'm saying. The mindset is bigger than the CDL. You feel me? Because it took the mindset to even acquire that. So the big picture is getting your CDL is definitely a high accomplishment. But what did it take in order to get it? You feel me? The mindset. Did you come in here with all the wrong reasons? Because your said experience can reflect your intentions. I came in here with sincere intentions, and I felt like I'm getting rewarded accordingly because of my mindset. I got in here with a strategy, a plan, a direction. You feel me? I didn't just get in here because my back was against the wall and I had nothing else to do with my life. You feel me? I came in here with sincere intentions, and I feel like that carried over into overcoming a very disastrous situation. Because how most people would sit up there and look at that like, dang, you literally dropped your for sure paycheck, your 9 to 5, in order to secure another position, and it didn't pan out. That can take a lot of people out the game. You feel me? I almost went back to my company, but that's another thing. Even if I didn't find this account, the fact that I had a luxury of going back to said company that I just quit, and it was no bad blood, that also lets you know, that's the silver lining between this, is that this is bigger than the CDL, this message right here. Once you're credentialed and qualified in whatever said market, talent is also going to come around with a lot of tolerance, right? And you see this in sports and stuff like that, where, you know, star player, maybe they got character issues and so on and so forth, but if they know how to produce, a lot of people going to turn a blind eye because everybody loves winning. Winning is the ultimate deodorant. You winning, nobody sees nothing, nobody says nothing, nobody even wants to do nothing. They all going along to get along. And that's what I'm sitting up there saying. When you handle your business and you do it professionally, it don't matter how you move, the respect gonna come first. So that's all I gotta say with y'all, man. Thanks for watching this video. More videos on the way. You know, I know y'all probably been looking for me to switch it up. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and foreshadow. I do got another video coming out, another banger. You feel me? Got nothing to do with trucking. You feel me? I understand trucking is a part of this page, but it's not the end all be all. You feel me? So I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all that. But y'all have a nice night. You feel me? A good weekend. You feel me? And more videos on the way, man. Tap in, lock in. You feel me? Thoughts, comments, leave those below. Like the video. And last but not least, subscribe to the channel. We on.